You can destroy planets, but you can never destroy what I am, friend.
So happy. Why exactly are you, Glue?
Because I'm a cat.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
You are to blame for this, Satan. Why do I ever listen to you?
By the power of Grayskull.
The hell wrong with me?
We're bad guys. It's what we do. Taylor! Don't let her get away, Mommy. Don't let her live.
I won't.
Right, whoa! A talking skull! I'm so scared. I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves.
I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will be. Such heroic nonsense.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. This is podcasting from beyond the grave. This is what volume 2, basically. This is our reboot from our previous ventures, which we may or may not ever publicize. We've had some other recent podcasts that we've never aired because we don't know what we're doing. I feel like we might be heading on in a better direction now. My name is Jason.
And my name is Donnie.
I'm Brad. That's Papa Emeritus the Fifth.
Awesome.
Yes, Brad just got back from a Ghost concert.
Ghost will pull their music off Spotify if we put this podcast on the air. So
Really?
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
Oh, well, then I'll show
So
it to
what do we talk about then?
Well, we have a bunch of toys surrounding us, so that sounds like a good start.
All right. I think we're going to do a year in review.
All right. Okay. First?
Yeah.
Let's jump right in then.
2021, because now it's mid-February 2022. Why not? Let's talk about the past one more time. Anybody want to start anywhere? Any category? Just hit the high points. What do you remember? Do you even remember 2021?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of sitting at home, seemed like. I did get all my TV time watched in. Yeah, I was caught up on a lot of things. Well, I know.
What's your high points?
My high point, I finally got to watch all of Game of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm caught up to the rest of the world now.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm still missing out on
Are you?
the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, so
Eventually.
I thought it was not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, and see what else? Ah, man,
Dragons, boobs, blood.
Dragons, man, them dragons. I tell you. So I was like looking at them flying around. They did awesome on them dragons. I was like, it's almost like there was some real freaking dragons flying around there. So I thought this CGI was pretty neat. Did you ever watch any of that?
I tried watching the first episode and I really didn't get into it.
Well, that's me too, because at first I'm like, well, I don't get into the knights and shiny armor.
Yeah,
and stuff
then there
like
was
that.
the incest, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch
Yeah,
it.
there is. Yeah, there's a lot of that, but
No, I can be okay. I'm not a big fantasy fan, but we did, I've been off this past week, so we watched all 3 of the Lord of the Rings films for the first time in years, and yeah, those are some of the best movies ever produced. I mean,
Yep.
they're just works of art above. There's comic relief without stale, jokey humor, Marvel quippy one-liners when somebody's in mortal danger and always somebody there making a joke about Beyonce. Yet they had, it's true, there's always some kind of pop culture reference thrown into every 5 minutes of most of the Marvel movies, and to watch a film where there's actually you feel there's actually stakes. Some of the characters are in peril, and people, obviously, some people are protected by plot armor, but for the most part, it does feel like people that people are in danger. People can get killed. People are killed.
And this feels just like Budapest, don't it?
I was distracted. My mom just called, so,
do we need to take
I
a
just
break?
talked to her like
Okay.
an hour ago.
Okay.
So I don't know. She needs
Let's
to
talk again.
She does like to talk. The same. But yeah, I thought Gimli was perfect. Gimli is like C-3PO and perfect comic relief. It's not the original trilogy C-3PO. As far as just there to ease a little tension.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing over the top. It's but he has some funny lines.
What about movies? How many theater movies did you see? What was your favorite?
Well, I got out to get to see, surprisingly, Spider-Man. I didn't think I was going to get to see that, but did when it first came out. That was pretty good.
Yep. Liked it a lot.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else other than Spider-Man. I don't think so. Hell, that's...
I mean, I saw a lot of. I never stopped going to movies. I mean, since the theater was open, I went. I was never scared to go to the movies.
I wasn't either, but I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I know Spider-Man stands out, but I can't
From
think.
last year, well, let's see. Me and Ramek would just see. We saw the Candyman reboot, which had been pushed off and off
It's
for
fantastic.
a long
movie.
time. Of course, went to see Halloween Kills, which is divisive.
I'm sensing a theme.
People seem to like it, or they. If the lady with the iron will show up at the horror cons, then it's all worth it. And they're trying to get her to show up.
And see, I haven't seen that one yet, so.
Well, there's a scene where the town of Haddonfield has all been rallied together. Evil dies tonight, and they're all going to stop Michael. At this point, Michael can pretty much pick up a truck with one hand. It seems like he's that powerful. He's indestructible.
He's tapped into something. Huh?
Yes, at this point, yeah, you can't just take him down. And so everybody's there, and there's this one woman in the background, and she's holding her iron
Like, is she at least swinging it like
in
a
a
mace?
defensive weapon, in defensive mode.
Okay.
It's not a
So,
melee weapon.
Big
It's-
brass
it's-
knuckle.
But it wasn't plugged in. She didn't have a
It's
long
not plugged in. No,
long extension
she's just
cord.
holding. In fact, there's a whole group, a Facebook group called the lady who brought an iron to fight Michael Myers, and so that's she's popular now.
Most original weapon.
Well, yeah, at the concert last night, Papa even said, "Has anybody been to the movies lately?" Before he played the theme, Hunter's Moon.
Awesome.
So I think I do remember Halloween Kills. It's not my favorite, but it's a fun distraction movie.
Are they done?
No, Halloween has to end.
But
Halloween was
Halloween
2018, then
Kills.
it killed. Now it will end this
so
year.
there's going to be Halloween End.
Halloween ends
Ends.
this
Okay.
October. Jamie Lee Curtis has just finished the shooting, I believe.
Okay.
She had her Final Girl shirt on Instagram.
Awesome.
You think they'll kill her off in this one? Like she finally gets it, big knife through her?
I think so. I think
think
Or
so.
she
too.
dons the mask.
No, I think it has to end. I think it needs to end.
And then all the other little masks from that one, Halloween
No,
3
just
comes out.
let it all end. I mean, just can we stop at some point?
Yes, I agree.
So should he find like a Spock mask instead of a Captain Kirk mask to use?
It's funny because I watched The Devil's Reign, which is where that mask came from. I watched that twice this year. Svengoolie showed it, and then I watched it on Shudder, and I'd never seen it. So Shatner has a role in that film with Ernest Borgnine and plays the lead Satanist, and Ida Lupino. It's got a good cast in it actually, and that's the movie where they made that life mask for Shatner's face that ended up being used
Right.
for the Carpenter film. So that was interesting to actually see that. But what else was in the theater? Yeah, Candyman and Halloween, and we saw all the Marvel. There were several Marvel films. There was
Black Widow,
Oh, okay.
Black
I did
Widow,
go
there
see
was-
that one. I
there
knew
was
that.
Spider-Man.
Shang-Chi,
Shang-Chi. All that's.
and The Eternals.
I never saw The
I did go to
Eternals.
the theaters and see that one.
It's on the Plus.
I
I've
did
yet
watch
to
it
see
on
The
Plus.
Eternals.
And
I liked it. I don't see how it's going to fit into everything else, but
yeah,
Well, they're going to bring all of them in at the end, and they'll all come out of time warps or something. And Doctor Strange will have Christopher Reeve back from the dead, and everybody will come out of the multiverse, and it'll all work.
What about what was the worst thing that you saw this year?
The worst thing.
Or you just didn't you said nope, only top tier, top shelf booze for me, and didn't look at anything that you knew was crap.
Wow.
What did I not enjoy?
Stumped everybody. That.
Well, I'm trying to think
No,
back.
because I've got a couple.
As to what actually. Go ahead with yours.
Well,
We'll
yeah.
think of ours.
Help us out.
There's three, and I watched them all purposely. And I'm going to say the worst, or the least worst. Let's do the least worst. Godzilla vs. Kong. Out of the three.
Oh, that's
terrible
right. I
ones.
did go see that one.
Not just, it wasn't great. I mean, it was pretty, but it just made absolutely no sense. They just full of loopholes. This is what we're gonna do now, and there's holes in the earth, and
Yeah.
they try to make Kong and Godzilla both good guys that were fighting one another. I don't want to see it ever again.
I have no plans to ever watch it again.
Um,
It's just forgettable.
I know I had such high hopes for it too. I was like, oh yeah, this they got to do it right. They was putting out a bunch of Godzilla stuff and
Like the first,
And then
the
it kinda
new
looked like
Godzilla
they-
they put out, that
Yeah.
movie was excellent. That with Brian
the Gareth
Cranston in it,
Edwards
and-
directed.
yeah, I mean that was fantastic. Had new monsters in it, all that, great, well done. So the second worst is Matrix.
oh, let's see.
I didn't even
the
watch it.
Matrix
It didn't even look
Resurrections.
interesting. The trailer didn't.
I just don't care.
I almost didn't, but then I was like, let's see what they can do. And it's messy. It's like, please don't make any more of these. I'm done with that whole concept.
It bombed so badly that the only reason they made it, I think, is the studio. Studio said, "Hey, we have this franchise.
Yep.
And we want to squeeze a few more pennies out of it."
Yep.
And he went to the Wachowskis, and I think they were going to make the film without them, and they decided.
Well, no, I think it's somebody's daughter or wife or somebody made it. She has the last name.
No, with the Wachowskis transitioned.
Okay. They helped produce it.
they are trans women, and so that's why
Okay.
that's why you're hearing female pronouns
All right.
associated with them.
Didn't
or,
know.
Or they, them, or she, I believe, one or the other.
If I would have liked the movie, maybe I would have dug it more, or dug in a little bit more to do my research. But
If I ever want to watch The Matrix again, I'll watch The Matrix. I'll watch the original one. I remember seeing the sequels way back when they came out and not being that impressed with 2 and 3.
the second one, I was more impressed because it seemed to open way up.
I can't tell you what happened in any
Yeah, I
of
like
it.
the second one, but the third one kind of.
Yeah.
I can barely tell you what happened in the first one, and I cannot tell you what happened in 2 or 3 at all. So I know Manson had the "Rock Is Dead" song on the first one. It just
Yep.
had a good soundtrack.
Yep.
Well, it was huge. It was a big movie when it came out. It made an impact, and that's why I don't feel we see a lot of that today.
Right.
I don't feel these films make an impact. Like
Now, with the franchises, it's hard to do that, and we're full of franchises now, which is good and bad. But it's nice to find a one-off, interesting movie that doesn't need to be remade again.
if the
Right.
creator has a vision, it tends to be much better. And I think the best example, and maybe my favorite show from last year, was Don Mancini's Chucky TV series,
okay.
in which you have Don Mancini, who was the brainchild of Child's Play, and Chucky. He's been there from the beginning. He wrote the lore. We call it lore. Originally, it was called a story.
Yeah.
So he writes the movies. And unlike all the other franchises, except for Scream, they didn't throw the continuity in the garbage. Like Halloween with the 20 different alternate
Restarts,
timelines
yeah.
that you can go through to watch those movies. I mean, Child's Play, to watch this Chucky series, to really get it, you need to have watched all the films, except for that remake, which was another studio. You need to watch all the canon Chucky films, up to Curse and Cult of Chucky, which were not released theatrically.
Right.
And if you haven't seen those, you don't know who.
So it's all in the same universe then.
It's all in the same universe, and the same guy is involved. So he cares, and he has a vision for the characters. He's writing towards something. He's not just throwing it to somebody else and saying, "Here, George Lucas made this 50 years ago. See what can you do with this?"
Going on long enough to be urban legend along with.
And so,
fact.
and people that have no idea what they're doing
Well, that's how I feel
take
like
over these franchises.
how they're doing the. Well, Tom McFarlane, he's wanting to make a Spawn movie, and now he wants to be the director. And I was like, well, why not? I mean, he's the brainchild of it anyway.
Yeah,
He
you know?
made Spawn. Let him
Why-
direct Spawn.
Let him direct it, right? Let's see what he can do with a movie. You know, just because he ain't never done it, don't mean that.
Was a lot of that has to do with unions and studios, and they
And for
don't
sure.
want, if they're giving you a bunch of money, they want to be sure
that
that they're going to get a return on it.
Return on it, right? But you would think, you know, he, at least let him direct it anyway. You can deal with the CGI and all that stuff yourself if you want, but yeah, at least
But and Chucky brought
see
back
his vision.
all the actors. We had Alex Vincent who played Andy, and I got to meet him at the Fright Night Film Festival, and he was really excited about the show. And we had Jennifer Tilly back playing Tiffany and playing Jennifer Tilly, playing herself and playing
Yes.
Tiffany Valentine.
Yep.
And she's amazing. And so yes, that was a good show based on a film that I felt had a point to it. It wasn't just trying to create more content just to make money. And I do feel a lot of it is that what they call a cash grab. We're just putting stuff out there
Right.
so you'll go see it.
Franchise with value.
No one has a story to tell anymore. We just have to, like Scream 5, which was this year, but it was early this year. It's the same story. All
Thought you
we've done.
liked it.
I couldn't really enjoy it all that much because my mom is sitting on the other side, and every time that the Ghostface is stabbing someone, she keeps going, "Oh my god, oh no, I can't watch this. Oh, I hate this movie." Yes, she always wants to go to these movies.
Yeah.
But she does that. But it's okay. It's not a terrible movie if you haven't seen the other ones, but it's the same movie. It's the same thing. All it did was it ended some storylines for the legacy characters. I don't want to say how their stories ended. Hopefully they are done. I don't ever want to see these actors. We love Neve Campbell as really one of the best final girls in horror movie history. I don't want to see her play Sydney in those films ever again. Sydney is done. And Gail and Dewey, all these characters are done. They need to be done. They just
Oh, Dewey's still in it for real?
Yep.
Okay.
those three are in this movie.
I think I lost. Maybe. the
And so,
second
but they
one.
introduce a whole new cast, right, of millennials. We get not the millennials, Zoomers. They're all Gen Z Zoomers, and they're all using the new lingo and everything. Do we care about these characters? I don't know. Maybe young people do. Maybe young people connected with them and liked them throughout the film. I could care less about them, and they're all just stereotypes. And
Someone connected with him, I'm sure.
I hope. Well, I don't know. It didn't have. Not the way that
It was in the same feel like they used to do movies.
Not
yes.
like that first film. That first film made an impact. That first film was huge. That first film was number one
yeah.
for quite a while. Everyone talked about it. People
Everybody
went to
talked
see
about
it
that
over and
forever.
over.
Yes.
Drew Barrymore getting killed off in that first
Right
scene
off
is
the-
iconic.
Right.
She
right
was
off the bat, you was like, what?
right off
She's
the
de-
bat, Drew
She's
Barrymore.
dead? What? No, not her.
So we have somebody that
Right.
people know and identify
That blew
with from the
people's
start. We
minds.
grew up with her, and here she's horribly slaughtered in the first
Right, that
first
blew-
scene.
yeah, that blew
and it
everybody's
created something brand new that people could talk about. This is just the fifth rehash of that. I mean, what else can you do with it? It has to be this killer who is somebody who you've seen in this film.
Well,
It's
at least they didn't try to
Scooby-Doo.
put
What
him
are we?
in
We're
space.
going to guess who he is. Ghostface in space. That would be different. At least that would be different. Ghostface versus Leprechaun in space. Yeah, Leprechaun. There we
Yeah,
go.
there
There's
you
the
go.
series that needs to come back.
They'll rehash
At least
that
we could
now,
redo
for
something
sure.
with him. He doesn't need a Funko Pop. Why don't we get any Leprechaun stuff?
Uh-oh. There we go. I thought I
Leprechaun in space coming up for St. Patty's Day. That's your must-watch.
Yes. It has boobs in it.
It does. It has a bit of everything in
Astronaut
it.
boobs, yeah.
space.
The princess, the space princess.
Yeah, because he lands on a different planet because he.
He starts off with her.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I leprechauned it.
He's trying to marry her so that he'll become rich,
More rich.
more rich.
More gold.
And then there's that weird scientist with the who becomes a head at the end, I think.
You see, this makes me
Yeah.
have to go home and binge watch some Leprechaun.
I don't know about binge watching.
You don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to binge watch. All you have to do is watch Leprechaun in Space. It tells
Yep.
you everything you need to know.
Yep.
Everything.
You don't have to watch,
Watch
the,
it with a friend. Don't watch it
the
alone.
original Jennifer Aniston classic that she doesn't want to own.
Yep.
She should own it.
It's like Renee Zellweger doesn't want to own the Texas Chainsaw. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre drops yesterday. Netflix. Netflix says, "Oh, we have a sequel to the classic, the original." So we're forget the cool ass Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from don't worry about that. This is our direct continuation of the
Yeah.
'74 Tobe Hooper classic.
They brought back the girl who survived.
The character, not the same actress, of course.
She looked pretty much like her. Like, she's aged. Because she was at least in her 20s or something when she did that, I believe.
Well, in '74, she would have been 20 or under.
I believe it's her.
It is the same actress.
I believe
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
If you look at her, it's like, oh, that's her.
So we've aged
Mm-hmm.
40 something years in between.
Yep.
She probably hadn't been in nothing since.
Probably not.
And Leatherface just kills a bunch of Zoomers.
I don't. I didn't. I just saw the trailer.
Hmm.
You wanna
See, I haven't
pause?
even seen that trailer.
Can we hang up? Can we pause a second here?
And we're back
Yes.
from a small break.
We have learned it's best to keep your phones turned off.
Yeah, this is we need the M&Ms to come in and tell us to turn off our phones because that's what they're.
Not that green M&M, because she can't wear her sexy boots anymore.
Poor sexy boots.
Oh, okay. There's something else I missed. Well, they've had a problem with the green M&M.
They did. They
Her
felt
go-go
she,
boots.
They felt she was being too sexual. And
But she's the green M&M.
They felt that.
Yeah, and remember the dumb urban legend whenever we were in high school that if you eat the green M&Ms,
Oh, yeah.
it makes you horny.
Horny, right.
So she was wearing the green stripper boots, and somebody said that was too much. They were offended by the.
I
The
thought
green
it just
M&M.
fit. I thought, well, you know.
No, well, she's
That was
she's
cool,
becoming
I
more
thought.
gender neutral.
Oh, man. They,
So-
they just take everything from
They
you.
take
don't
everything.
They take everything from you, man. Before you know it, they're going to
Go ahead.
ban Toucan Sam from the cereal box.
Oh, I don't
his
think
nose
he-
is too big or something.
He won't be around
He'd
very
be
long.
offensive to somebody with big noses.
Well, he's poisoning. He's poisoning kids with his sugary cereal.
And how about the leprechaun from Lucky
He's
Charms?
done too.
Yeah, it's all over.
Well, you know what? Those mascots only survive because they're profitable. Now you're starting to see merchandise based off them.
Yeah, there's action figures and
Funko Pops and
they get the Funko Pop Madonna toys. What was it, Grimace and
oh yeah, first time you've
Guys
seen those
and-
characters in almost 2 decades.
Yes.
And we're seeing them again through Funko, which is a pretty ambitious company. It's a-
Man, if there's some pop culture, they're gonna make a Funko Pop of it.
They have Have you seen the new NECA Toy Fair figures? They released some photos of
I'm very excited about the thing.
the Elton John.
I did see the Elton John. Yes,
I thought that was pretty impressive.
Mhm.
I won't buy it, but
it's impressive.
Was he in these top hat, big glasses?
No.
He was in his baseball uniform, his
Oh.
rhinestone.
and they did the piano and everything. It's like
Oh,
this
really?
huge deluxe set that will peg warm and sit there at your local Target for 6 months, like the Elvis did.
Mm.
You used to go in there and all you'd see is the Elvis and the Bill and Ted,
Oh yeah.
the same
Sorry.
ones.
Back to our 2021. We'll get to that other stuff.
Okay.
Stay on track.
2021.
2021, and I was gonna offer up my number one worst movie of 2021,
Oh, yes, that's right.
and I'm pretty sure that you guys have never seen it, but I'm going to recommend that you watch it because it's that terrible.
Veroteca?
I forgot about that one. That was the worst.
Was that 2021 though?
I don't know. My worst one was Ice Road. The Ice Road.
Trucker. Dang. Oh.
It was Liam Neeson.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
That movie is so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
It's just Liam Neeson finally getting mad and driving a truck on the ice. And he's fighting people on
yeah. I watched
snow
about
skiers and machine guns.
15 minutes of that, and I was like, oh no.
It's so
no
bad.
More. Yes, that was pretty
So
bad.
bad.
He has a new movie out,
Liam Neeson?
a new kind of revenge movie where someone's kidnapped his family.
Of course. That's what you do when you get old and you're an action star.
Ain't that his last 10 movies?
I know. I mean, really, it seems pretty repetitive.
Someone gets kidnapped and he goes with his certain set
Well,
of
he used
skills
to.
and-
He with his skill set, he worked. Well, he worked for the government, and I think he was being groomed for a job that he doesn't want to do, and so they went and took his granddaughter
90s all over again.
and his mother. I mean, not his mother. I wish they took his mother.
Give me
They
back
took
my
his
mother.
They took his granddaughter and her mother, his daughter, and are holding them until he complies with what they want, and he's not down with that. So
Mm.
No.
he's going to show them a thing or two. You know,
It's
the
on.
forgettable movies this year. What was it? The from 2021. I had to get a little recap myself. I far as terrible movies, Venom, Rise of Carnage, awful,
Man,
Awful.
I finally
Yes.
watched
absolutely
it.
awful.
Yeah.
I did. There's so many things.
And I went to the theater and seen it.
I did too.
Oh,
yeah.
I was in the theater and saw it, and I almost fell asleep. It was just
It was so put
and
together.
I was excited
just like,
for it too because I thought that Old Boy was going to be a very good Carnage.
we never saw him kill anyone.
No, he never.
He's a serial killer,
Right.
yet we never saw him kill anyone.
Yeah, he was in prison the whole time.
He was in, yeah.
and then he gets out, gets a car, gets a jacket, and
He
then
bites him. He
Yeah.
bites Eddie Brock, and then he gets
Yeah.
it. Yeah, just like come
it's
on.
bad.
Oh, he just yeah.
And then it was
I-
so quick. Everything was so quick
Yes.
after that.
Yep.
It all moved like bam, bam. This happened. Bam, bam. This is happening.
Eddie
now.
Brock's the fiance just, well, she's pointless in this movie. Just that was an awful movie. The Conjuring 3. I was really looking forward to that. Absolutely forgettable. I need to watch it again maybe
Just to forget
because I
it.
loved. Well, because I
I was gonna say the first two were really.
I
good.
didn't go see it in the theater. I loved the first one, and I love part 2 even more.
I do too.
Where we when we met Valak and the nun or Valak, the God, she had a big long title for her name, but yeah, and then the Crooked Man and everything. It's part 2 is fantastic, and part 1's really good, and so I was really disappointed with part 3. It just really seemed like a
Yeah, I get to see that one yet. Sounds like I ain't missing nothing.
well. I want to give it another chance, but I don't think I. But then again, I didn't see it in the theater. I just watched it on at home, and there's a big difference in that being in the. But with Venom, no, it wouldn't have been. That was terrible. That was Wonder Woman 84 terrible. That is a movie I almost did fall asleep in the theater. Wonder Woman 84. It's an awful
Yeah.
movie.
Was that last year?
That was
No.
Christmas of 2020. I saw.
okay.
It was the first. It was the first movie, big movie release during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Because up till then, I went to the movies all through 2020, but it was just we were seeing reissues of 80s classics, and you know what?
Yeah.
That was probably more fun
Yeah.
than I had this year, because we saw The Terminator, and we saw Empire Strikes Back, and Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Scream. You know what? It was better than everything I saw last year. Those were better movies.
2021 sucks, so let's go
Yeah.
back even further.
I mean, what was the best original concept film that you'd seen?
That I'd seen. Phew, man, as far as original,
Yeah, something not a franchise, nothing, not a sequel or a reboot or.
I've really enjoyed Don't Look Up on Netflix. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, was it? I
Yeah.
was wondering about that.
There's so much satire in that reflects the past couple of years. It's pretty awesome.
I heard that was a little preachy though.
Yes, you are correct on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Big Hollywood multimillionaires trying to tell us how to live.
Yep.
What did
Zack,
Kid Rock say about that?
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, you liked it or not?
Justice League? No, this version of it.
You didn't like the Snyder Cut?
version?
No, I did.
Oh, yeah,
I
the
did.
Snyder Cut's amazing.
That was.
I can't believe
I
they
like
did
that movie so much better after seeing
Well,
that one.
why did they not do? I mean, it's unfathomable.
Because the Batman v Superman was too dark and everybody's so worried.
So you cut out the villain? You cut out Darkseid
yeah.
out of the movie
Yeah.
completely?
Yeah.
No wonder the guy who played Cyborg was upset. They cut his entire story out.
I know. Once he's in there, it's like, this is amazing. I have such a better appreciation for the character than I did before.
Yeah, Cyborg's awesome once
Yeah.
you actually see
what he
his
was
story.
supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did have one thing this year that was, or last year, should I say, that I liked, but no one else seemed to like, and they banned it. It was the Cowboy Bebop. Did any of
Oh,
you-
they canceled. Yeah, they
they
canceled
canceled it.
season 2.
Well, there's a thing where they're trying to get a bunch of people to sign and get it to come back on air.
I'll be honest, I did not finish it. Not that I didn't like it. It is a little wonky in places. But other than that, I kind of liked it.
I liked it too. I finished it all up. It wasn't true to the story, but you know, they moved it
tried.
around. They
Yeah.
tried though, yeah.
Yep.
And I actually kind of enjoyed it. After at first, I didn't think I would though. I was just like, this don't look like it being any good. And then started watching it, and I was like, well, I got into it. But yeah.
Speaking of streaming, we had WandaVision last year.
Oh, I guess that was last year.
We had Falcon and the Winter Soldier last year. We had Loki, which was good.
I like.
Falcon and the Winter,
Winter
Soldier,
Soldier
I
was-
didn't like as much.
Yeah, I think they kind of was piecing that together.
Yeah. I think it was during the high point of COVID and they were trying to finish it up some kind of way.
But the WandaVision was interesting.
Yep. Loki was the most Marvel of all those shows. You know.
Yeah.
We also had Mandalorian season 2 with more Baby Yoda, Brad's favorite.
Has anybody? When did the Book of Fett start?
It started in December,
Okay.
so it classifies as.
I was wondering.
2021.
Started in December, yeah. Book of Boba Fett,
Did-
a.k.a. Mandalorian Season 2.5.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
Yep.
So, what do you think about the Bubba on the Rancor?
I mean,
It's cool.
it's fun to watch. The first time you watch it, it's fun to watch.
But then if you really start looking at the story, you're like,
Then when I step back from it all, and I
spent
did
so
just
much weird time in different places.
I just had this conversation with the young people down at the coffee shop, and she asked what I thought about it, and then it just said, you know,
And you said, well, back in my day.
1980, Boba Fett was just this. He was a
Enigmatic.
plot device. He was just, but he was competent, and I think that was the difference. Is that, you know, we see these bounty hunters and there's one scene, and this scene stuck with so many people for
Yeah.
so many years. And they didn't. Boskus growls at one Imperial officer, and IG-88 is just a prop. Zuckuss and 4LOM and Dengar pretty much just glower. They don't do
Yep.
anything. 4LOM's a prop. You know, and we have this one conversation between Fett and Vader, and he's just like, no disintegrations. We're like, oh, this guy disintegrates
Yeah,
people.
wow.
So we know this just within that little
He's used them
exposition there.
before.
He's killed people before, and then we see that he's crafty, and he watches the Falcon. He sits behind and waits till he float away with all the rest of the garbage, and he follows them, and he's just, you know, cool looking and enigmatic, walking around the halls of Bespin. He's worth a lot to me. You know, he's talking back to Vader, and the Empire will compensate you if he dies, and all this, and so. Awesome character in The Empire Strikes Back. And then in Return of the Jedi, they kind of clown him up a little bit.
Yep.
You know, but I don't know. His scene on the skiff is pretty cool. He's shooting cables and he's using his jetpack, and we just give Han that one lucky
Yeah.
Bing.
Clumsy. Bumps into him.
clumsy
he's
strike
blind.
with a pole. I
Right.
guess it could have happened.
Yeah.
So I seen somebody was saying that he had a throwaway line in there when he was talking about wanting to ride the Rancor. He said he is rolled bigger. So someone had threw that back to the old holiday special.
That's exactly where that line came from.
Yeah.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he rode
Filoni
that big red creature.
the big dragon. Yeah.
Yes.
And when he said that, I knew exactly where they were going with this baby Rancor that they had.
And that was his actually first appearance, wasn't it? As
Yeah,
Boba Fett
the holiday
in the
special.
holiday,
The holiday
special.
special. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first. Actually, I think he walked in a parade.
Oh,
They
with
made
Vader.
that- yes, with Vader, and they
Yes.
had that prototype suit, and then he walked in a parade, and he was in the holiday special, and then of course in the novels they've already got out to Sarlacc, and he's saved by Dengar and Dengar's wife or girlfriend, I think, and not the Sand People.
Right.
So the show isn't. It's fun to watch, but then sometimes it does just feel like the Filoni and Favreau are going through my shelves back here and pulling out every action figure and saying
Who's this guy?
we
Let's
never
give him a
saw
story."
this guy. Let's give him some screen
Let's
time.
give him
Are we
some
going to get an Akbar show?
8D8,
It's a
Max
trap.
Rebo,
It's not a trap show.
and Max Rebo not being in that
Yeah.
cafe when it blew
Oh, so
up.
he's dead for sure now.
No, he's not dead. He wasn't there.
Oh,
was a
wait.
break.
Oh, okay.
They
I was wondering about that.
He was off that day. They purposely show. Oh no! They purposely show the Biff musician, who we assume may have been part of the Figuring Deanne's group from A New Hope. So maybe a New Hope character was just blown up in that scene, and we don't know, because there were lots of Biff musicians with the unfortunate name of Jizz Wailers. That is what they were called. The music they played was
This
jizz.
is a little history lesson for you.
And so, and they had horns, and they were called jizz whalers. So he
I
was
love learning new things
he
that
was-
I can't use anywhere at all.
he was one of the modal nodes from Figuring
Only
Deanne
here
and the
this
modal
would be a
nodes.
conversation.
And I assume that he is quite dead. And Jennifer Beals, who is ageless.
Mm.
I don't know what she does to herself.
Yeah,
Jesus.
What about him?
baby blood.
She looked fantastic.
He's a baby
She was in
boy.
Flashdance.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, God.
And how-
1982.
And how good does she look
Yeah.
as that Twi'lek
she,
lady?
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
looks like she's 30,
Yeah.
maybe.
And Fennec Shand, she's in her late 50s. And she looks great. Good for her.
I don't think they did the de-aging thing like they did
No.
with
No.
Luke Skywalker, No, that
No,
was
poor
her.
Mark can't look like that anymore. I mean, but it was a good job they did on that.
Yes.
Yep.
I love seeing R2. R2 is getting more to do now than he did in the whole sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
It is. He
Yeah, I
has
know.
done more in the Mandalorian shows than he did in the entire. All he did there was he showed a map one time, didn't he? Sat there with Luke. He did.
Yeah.
He showed the
It was
him
sad.
and BB-8 combined their maps,
Yep.
which is of course what you would have to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to try to shoehorn in all these sequel trilogy characters too into these Kenobi shows. I think that
Yeah.
the old guy from the beginning of Force Awakens that
Back in
Kylo
the
Ren
desert
kills.
again. Let's go have
I
another
think that guy's going to show up.
show desert show.
Well, I'm going to see the Sand People again, and Jabba thugs.
It's the tattooing.
It's a Tatooine show.
Yeah.
What else is he
Tatooine-verse.
going to do? And Vader or
Everything in Star Wars happens here.
Hayden Christensen is supposed to be in the show. I don't really.
He's going to show up as a Force ghost.
No, Vader is supposed to be
Oh,
in the
no,
show.
That's right, because he's dead.
No,
Or he's not dead.
Yeah, Vader's
Yeah,
Vader's on the Death Star at this point. So
He's just going to take off his hat every now and then and smoke cigarettes while his hat's off in his little chamber.
they obviously can't share scenes together. I don't.
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
They'll talk to each other from across the galaxy, like Rey and
Ray and Kylo
And
Ren.
Kylo
They have a
Ren.
diad,
Yeah.
a force.
Touch
we're-
each other.
We're losing
across
all these new words.
galaxy.
What is Boba Fett? He's the Dinjab
Yeah.
of Mos Espa.
Yep.
Where was Watto? I was hoping we'd see Watto. You're throwing everyone else out there. You may as well see Watto
Next season.
with
Pretty sure he's dead.
with Amy Sedaris. Why would he be dead?
I don't know. Because he owed money.
Cad Bane was old.
The
Watto could be old.
Jabba ate him. Put him on a stick. Took him to the fantastic. Were we getting a kitchen playset too with all the salad bots?
That scene was that scene was a bit much.
I would expect Jabba's palace to have a better kitchen than that. A little bit bigger and fancier, but
Yeah, because
Marinate
Big
some frog.
Fortuna.
Well, yeah, everyone
Big
gets
Fortuna
fat.
got pretty big.
Yeah. And
Now,
it
see,
wasn't on
that-
salads.
He wasn't eating salads. Yeah.
And that's what was disappointing about Book of Boba Fett is that when we saw that at the end of Mandalorian, when he struts in Jabba's palace, and we see a big fat Bib Fortuna sitting on the throne,
Yeah.
and he just shoots his ass dead.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is gonna be something.
They didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
He's just like, I'm going to get rid of drugs.
He got rid of the spice,
Yeah.
and he
picked up some guy that spins when he shoots.
shows the Wookiee that Black Chrysanthemum that
yeah.
there's a kinder way. Black Chrysanthemum is a really nasty character in the comics.
He's the next Chewie. Now.
Well, just the Hutts hired him, and of course
Yeah.
he failed.
Yep.
So then, I don't know. When a bounty hunter fails, do you?
We weren't expecting Boba Fett to be a good guy. It would have been interesting if it was just him trying to build the underworld or a better underworld. His reasoning seems weird.
Well, I mean, the Sand People showed him.
yeah.
by saving him.
softened him up.
They
And-
softened him. Yes.
And time in a Sarlacc pit, I'm sure helped out.
Yeah.
a little
All
bit
that
of
just
it.
showed him that there's a gentler way to live.
Here's my question. Why was there a stormtrooper in the Sarlacc pit? Because
There was none on the carriage, yeah.
Well, no, they weren't on the.
Unless it was from a time before.
So was he from New Hope that he had wandered looking for droids? Look, sir, droids.
Oh, yeah, when he's
there's
coming-
a hole, a
yeah.
big, nasty, wet hole I'm going to fall down into.
They was coming to the desert.
Yeah.
They went out to the Great
So,
Pit of Carcoon.
Yeah, 3 years later, he's not all the way digested, so he steals his oxygen and
The armor wouldn't have digested at all. Well, the Stormtrooper armor would have. The Beskar would not have. Of course, even the old Boba Fett and the old.
But
and-
it's
and-
not like he's wearing it all over
All
the
over the
place.
place.
He's
And-
wearing a janitor suit and has a couple pieces of armor on.
in the pre-Beskar continuity, before Beskar was a thing.
Yeah.
His armor survived.
Yeah.
Was surviving the process, and he just used his grenades and his rocket launcher to get out.
Where did that stormtrooper come from? That plot hole.
I don't know. Unless
Season
Jabba had captured a stormtrooper at some point and threw him in
Thought
there.
it would be fun.
Thought
I
it
got
would be
this
fun.
One single stormtrooper. Gas up the skiff. We're going to go drop this one stormtrooper in here. I'm not going to feed him to the
I'm sure
Rancor.
there's a video game or a book or a comic
Yeah,
book
he must have
somewhere
really
that
been pissed
explains
at that stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I guess the guy did fall in there looking for the droids. That's the best. That's the best I can think of. Yeah,
He said,
because
what's
it,
this down here?
it doesn't make. Well, they have that
They
yell.
had other bully.
What's that yell that they have that
Oh,
the,
yeah.
that the Weequays? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's not really it, but
Well, I'm-
it's the one that the all the aliens. There's that certain Star Wars yell
Yep. Yep.
that the stormtroopers and Jabba thugs use.
Some, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Well, I think Boba Fett even did it too when he falls in the Sarlacc.
Yes.
Everyone has
Yep.
that yell.
Oh shit! That's what he did.
Boba Fett was cooler in 1980 than he is in 2000.
19.
Well, he's cooler in 1980 than he was in 1983, and he was cooler in 1980 than he was in 2022 or 21. It's not a bad show. It's fun to watch.
No, it's fun. It was good.
It's fun, but it wasn't necessary.
The last thing on my streaming list was Transformers Kingdom, the third chapter in the Transformers Crapaverse that they were creating.
You don't like it?
I watched the first two twice. I haven't went back and watched the third one yet.
I mean, they tie it up, but it's like, it's clunky.
The first time I watched it, I
some of the
didn't.
writers were complaining that they did have more storyline, but I think they were just trying to get it done or something. Who knows? Move forward. But that produced a
Shit ton of toys.
debit in my bank account of all the action figures that they were creating. So I was finishing up a collection I never had in the first place due to that series.
Yeah, because them are some really good looking action or Transformers. Can't
Yep.
really call them action
Mm.
figures.
They are. They're action figures. They pose.
I mean, I get
They got guns. That's action. Pew, pew.
They don't come with just
I call them Transformers. I guess.
crowbars and
Yeah, and finger guns.
Styx.
Banarangs.
So, what about music this year or 2021? How would you describe your
Oh, it was fantastic. I heard all kinds of great albums.
you buying new or continuing
No, it's mostly new stuff.
mostly new stuff? Like, I guess what I mean is, did you find any new artists this year?
I did.
Did you?
Mhm.
Who's on that
Bands
list?
like Spirit Box. Spirit Box played. I saw them play Louder Than Life. Their record Eternal Blue was one of the top metal albums of the year.
I think
Well
I have
received
that.
critically
I
and
think I bought that after
commercially.
you said that.
I mean, they were huge at that show. They were fantastic. That girl, she has a hell of a voice. And I like the band Trivium. I followed them for a long time, and they put out this album in the Court of the Dragon. It was it's a perfect record. It's really, and I got to see them with Megadeth and Lamb of God last September, and got to hear some of that stuff. They'd actually put out 2 records since pandemic.
Wow.
What the Dead Men Say, and then in the Court of the Dragon, and so they played songs off both of those albums. And then of course, the Ice Nine Kills, the Welcome to Horrorwood, which is for any horror movie fan. If you like heavy music and you like horror movies, so you should just love this album. There's no reason that you wouldn't. Spencer, like, he knows these movies. The lyrics are smart. Yeah, some of it when he does the guttural vocals, you may have to read the lyric book the first time, but after that,
Then you got it down. What
he's got some guest vocalists from Atreyu and Cannibal Corpse and all kinds of guys like that popping in. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of their videos since you've introduced me to
Oh,
them.
you should. All the videos are like
And
mini
yes,
movies.
I did
He's
get
going
a
to
lot,
direct
yeah.
films one day. I have no doubt of that.
Yeah,
He's
they're really neat.
He's got the passion and the talent to direct, and he's got his own original character, his own original slasher that he plays in the videos. Because in the videos, he's murdered his fiance, or someone has murdered his fiance, and so we're piecing together.
Piecing the story together.
Yeah.
right.
Well, they have playing the Los Angeles detective is Bill Moseley. So Bill Moseley is playing the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, who is trying to figure out how when
this is all
Spencer-
coming together,
Yeah, and then
right.
of course we watch all the video clips of the Thank God It's Friday and American Nightmare and what's the Halloween song that they do? Stabbing in the Dark.
Yeah, Stephanie.
So they take those and It Is the End is the penultimate.
But yeah, them videos are really cool.
All the videos are amazing. Watch the new ones. The Hip to Be Scared, which is the American
I don't think I've
Psycho.
seen that one yet.
Well, that's based off of Christian Bale, American Psycho. It's fantastic. And then they did the Child's
It's a good
Play.
movie.
It was a good movie. Well, that was based off of.
How about you, Jay? What about you? You're always into some new music.
There was a lot of brand new artists that I got introduced to back in 2022. Way back in 2022.
21, you mean?
Yeah. See, I'm way out of it.
It's early.
One of them was Emma Ruth Rundle, and I had picked up at least 4 albums of hers. It was the discovery of listening to stuff that's somebody does a short live show and records it, and I really enjoy her talent a lot. And I have been introduced to this person at one point, but nothing clicked yet. But Chelsea Wolfe, her new album that came out, I believe it did come out last year, Birth of Violence, and somebody had described it as gothic folk music, which I believe is true. Enjoyed that a lot and picked up 3 of her albums last year and enjoyed those quite a bit.
You went to a show last year too, didn't you?
Went to see
I thought you went with him.
I did. I was waiting for him to say it. Yeah.
yeah, everybody's always happy whenever I go to actual concerts, but I don't always go.
You went to September Morning,
Yes.
and you went
that
to
was-
Nita Strauss with.
Yeah, was that last
No,
year?
that was,
No,
the
that
year
was-
before. That was
that
all
was the year before,
pre-pandemic.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was Anita Strauss, and who was that? Who was that shock rock band that opened up?
Oh my god.
Did they open up for Nita, or did they open up for for September Morning.
Now I seen September Morning with y'all.
September Morning had seemed like they had one or two bands in front of
But
Open
I
up
thought
for
they was
them.
like local acts though, wasn't they?
Oh, and we saw ZZ Top this year, last year, didn't
Oh
we?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I seen
ZZ
Right
Top?
before Dusty.
One of
passed
Dusty
on.
Hill's final shows.
Yeah.
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 Yep. That was. I'm very glad I went to that.
I was too.
I have not. I can honestly say I've never been to a show like that. Not just because it was. I don't know how to explain it, but there was such high energy, and to listen to a career of music and playing all these number one hits that everybody knows back to back to back to back was just, it was so fun and relentless. Like, you know,
It's like Donnie always says about Alice Cooper. He's just like,
I was
yeah,
getting
you
ready to
don't
say the
realize
same thing,
The
yes.
guy's got just hit after hit after
Yeah.
hit. But ZZ Top, yeah, every song they were
yeah,
playing.
next song is like, oh yeah.
If you didn't
yeah.
know this off rock radio, and the only
Yeah.
disappointment I had was that I loved off their album Recycler way back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
My Head's in Mississippi, and it seemed like that was the only song that people didn't know. And I did
Yeah.
not know this one.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
a big song.
Yeah.
It's all over LRS Rock 102 back in the day,
Yeah.
and QMF,
QMF, yeah.
which would play at it was. I didn't realize how much I really appreciated them as not only a rock band but also just the archetype of the 80s. I mean,
Yes.
they were all over my childhood, and remember the Chipmunks singing Sharp Dressed Man probably before, and seeing those videos. Those videos are just time capsules. We got
Oh,
the
yeah.
Eliminator car, and we got the girls that come out
Spinning
and,
guitars. with
Yeah.
the
and they
vocals.
fix all the
Fuzzy
problems.
guitars.
And we got the guys that are kind of like phantoms and just show up to help this hapless retail worker or
Right.
delivery boy or whoever needs a.
We're gonna get you hooked up, boy.
Yeah, I got to fix you up. I'll give you a
Yeah.
car. I'll give you these
They-
magic girls.
they
and they're
were
gonna come
the,
out of nowhere, and they're just going to take care of all the assholes. Who
They were fairy godfathers, is what they were.
Yeah, it's just
Or furry godfathers.
that's just cool, it's cool as hell. And Billy Gibbons is a hell of and
Yes.
think Billy and Frank are still. People talk like the band is gone. It's still Billy and Frank
Yep.
are still on tour.
Hell, I saw an advertisement where they've got
Yeah, they
tour
get-
just
yeah,
going
they still
on.
got-
Yeah, they're still touring, and
Yeah.
they got the
I'm
guy.
sure that's the way he would have wanted it as well.
Dusty's guitar tech. He's
Yeah, he's guitar
had
tech.
for
Yeah,
20 years, so the guy knows.
he was part of the band. Yeah, 20 years. You're part of the band, right?
Yeah, he's part of the family. So
Let's see. There was somebody else. Oh, Ghost of Room, which is the Mike Doty new album or new band from Soul Coughing. It's a fantastic album.
Oh, okay.
Hayley Williams. I did not realize who she was, and she is the lead from Paramore. And I had seen because it was like a NPR Tiny Desk concert, pandemic concert where they were playing in
Audio
this small
Tree.
studio, and it was like I didn't realize who she was, and then listening to her sing and lyrically, and I was like, this person's way seasoned. I don't know who this. And finally, I was like, oh, no wonder. That was an amazing album. Really enjoyed that. It was like
She's
a
an
double
incredible
album.
singer, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, highly recommend that. Donnie?
Man, as in anything new? No, not really. Just actually, just what y'all had pushed off on me. Been living in a hole when it comes to music, though. Everything's same old with me. I'm gonna have to get out there and I don't know. My sound has changed. I feel sometimes you feel a little metal, sometimes you feel a little rock and roll, sometimes you feel a little hip hop or blues. You know, it kind of goes with the wind with me. So I haven't found nothing that's really.
I also have to add the Servant of the Mind, the new Volbeat
I
album
found them.
from last, and got to hear them. The new Volbeat record, Servant of the Mind, should also be on that list because that was and I would challenge either of you two to listen to the Volbeats. I think you would enjoy
I
them.
think that was one of the videos that you put up, and the guys, it's slightly rockabilly, or maybe has a slight rockabilly vibe, maybe.
They're from Denmark,
Okay.
and he does do this like kind of Elvis, Johnny Cash
Yes. I did
thing
hear that, and I was like, all right.
in a few of the songs. In fact, they did part of Ring of Fire last night, and then they threw in the middle of his Odd. They did this version of the it's an old '60s song. It's Samantha Fox redid in the '80s. It was
Wow.
I Only Want to Be With You, and they threw like a little metal version of that, which I felt was interesting. And
So they like Social Distortion or something?
no, nothing like that. They go pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy and crunchy, and then
So any punk rocky?
then it gets it's all rockabilly influence, but no, they're a pretty unique band. It was a good stage show. Lola Montez, look up that song sometime. That's a yeah. Lola is a dancer. Spider-like dancer. You say.
So she has more than 2 legs?
Oh, you'll have to see. She, no, they were fantastic. So that record definitely should go up there with for me with Trivium and Spirit Box and Ice Nine Kills. And just being at working third shift and being able to listen to all these new releases
Yeah.
in their entirety on my YouTube streaming is gives me a chance to hear a lot more stuff. But then sometimes you'll just play the same old stuff you've always heard.
Yeah.
I think I like new music more. You know, with music though, it's easier to be fresh than it was with film. I really think that film has just become repetitive.
I don't want to close with this because I don't think we're done fully talking, but I want to play something. I have a subscription to Audible for audiobooks, and I mainly because the drive to work. It's a solid half an hour. Sometimes it takes me an hour to get back and forth to work and home sometimes. So it's nice to hear something different besides music. But Audible produced with DC. They did what did they call it? Basically, they did The Sandman, and it was like listening to a radio drama. You had all these different actors doing the characters and stuff like. So this was really my introduction to The Sandman. I've heard about it. I've heard it, Sandman being described as a sexually transmitted disease. Like once you're stuck with it, it's your favorite thing ever, or you get hooked on it. But what I want to play is the intro to the show, just to give you a taste of it, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more.
Gods come and gods go. Mortals flicker and flash and fade. Worlds don't last. Stars and galaxies are transient, fleeting things that twinkle like fireflies and vanish into cold and dust. But when the first living thing drew breath, he was there, waiting with his siblings. The endless. When the last living thing has left this universe, their task will be done. His realm is the dreaming, the world of sleep and imagination. He is Dream, Lord Morpheus, and he must learn to change or die.
The Sandman, an Audible original, produced in association with DC.
So it has music, it's got sound effects, it's got everything, and Neil Gaiman narrates in between things, maybe pushing the description of what you're supposed to be seeing in the comic and all that stuff. There's quite a few people that were voice actors in it. James McAvoy was Dream himself, or the Sandman. Kat Dennings is doing voices in there, and Andy Serkis as well. But it's like 11 hours. That's just chapter or part one.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they kind of trickle in and out of like the DC universe. They go to Gotham. You don't really see Batman or anything like that, but Scarecrow's there, a couple other characters, and they do this long story arc, and then eventually they start doing these small little chapters, stuff that happened further back in time, stuff that happens later, and little stories, and they're just slightly connected to the original story. But I would so recommend listening to that. It was a lot of fun listening to part one. Yeah, part one was 11 hours. I don't remember what the second half was. I think it was 6 hours or so.
So it's based off the old...
The original
comic
comic
books,
series,
yes.
Which Sam Keith actually helped draw a lot of that.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
can remember some of them covers.
But yeah, that do that. Get that.
Get that. he said.
I'm sure it would be nice to, maybe be able to purchase that and listen to it at a later time. But yeah.
That's
Anything
kinda
else?
cool. No, because I ain't got nothing to say about music. Like I said,
That's hard to believe.
I know. Well,
What the hell you been doing with your
just-
life?
He's gonna listen to Kiss.
Well, I can't. No. I haven't listened to no Kiss in a while.
There's always a little Kiss somewhere.
Oh well, I mean, it's all over the house. So I mean, I guess I couldn't have kissed that away. But yeah, I don't want to burn myself out. They're in the '90s. I had boycotted them there for a while, right after the concert in 2000, because it was everything Kiss all over again. It was like this.
I was telling my friend that last night. It's just like it was like Star Wars. There was a period where you just walked into stores and there was nothing from '83 onto or '85 onto the '90s. There was nothing.
And then all
So
of a
with
sudden-
Kiss, I would say from what from the makeup era, when the makeup era is over, Lick It Up. From Lick It Up
from 81
until
or 80.
96, the only place you would find any Kiss stuff was in a record store. You'd find their music for sale. You'd find the VHS tapes that they made for sale. But that was it. And then 96 happens, and it's sort of like Kiss threw up all over Spencer's.
All
You
over.
couldn't go into any kind of novelty store like Spencer's without seeing this Kiss stuff
Everywhere. right.
everywhere. And it's never
And they
really
were
gone
selling
away.
the same stuff over again, and it was just like
And so now you
reissuing stuff, saying it's brand new, and it's just like
still.
I'm just like I love Kiss, but I don't get into the merchandise like I used to.
Not the only stuff worth buying is the old stuff. The old stuff is so cool.
If you
Anything
can buy the 4 original Barbie dolls or the albums, actually,
they're
that's
Migos,
really all you.
yes.
Yes.
Anything from the Bill Aucoin era, when Bill Aucoin was the merchandiser for manager for them.
Yes.
That stuff is cool. In fact, I found something awesome online the other day. There is an auction going on right now. Somebody found a case of Don Russ Kiss trading cards.
Oh,
Not
wow.
just a box, but a case.
Case. Oh, that'd
And
be
there's like
awesome.
16 boxes in the case.
Do they have bubble gum in them?
Oh, I'm sure.
They're sealed cases. It's a sealed case of Kiss cards, 16 boxes, and it's going up for auction right now. And the speculation is that John Five from Rob Zombie's band is the person bidding on them. Because the
Okay.
high bid right now
He's a big
is
Kiss fan.
$16,000, $16,000 and going on this case of Kiss cards. John Five's got a Instagram page called Knights in Satan's Service, and it's just his personal Kiss collection. And if you got Instagram, just follow his page because he has an archive like close to what Gene Simmons has of his own stuff.
I bet
He
he
probably
does.
rivals what Gene has
Maybe.
that he collects, and so of course Rob's friends with those guys. And
Yeah, John Five's cool.
John Five is indeed cool. In fact, now Piggy D has a new project. Piggy D, the Rob Zombie's bass player.
Bass player, right?
With the girl from this band, New Year's Day. Have you ever heard them?
Yeah, New Year's
Ashley
Day. That's
Costello,
the red hair on
red
one
and
side and
black,
black. Yeah.
She's in a side project with Piggy D. And they're called the Haxons. And it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. New Year's Day.
Well, no, that's right. We saw them at Louder Than Life.
And we seen them open up for
They opened up for In This Moment.
In This Moment.
And
yeah.
she always tries to do that Pantera song, "Fucking Hostile," and she can't really pull it off.
Yeah, I think she even done that on one of her little
Well, we made fun of that.
EPs or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did 5 cover songs. And I
Yes.
listened to them, and 2 of them she shouldn't have tried to cover because they were awful. But the ones that she did, "Don't Speak" by No Doubt, that was pretty cool. The Only Happy When It Rains cover's awful. That's one she should have left alone.
Yeah.
Shirley Manson can do that. Now they're on tour. Garbage is on tour with Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears.
Opening up for Tears for Fears. Now, man,
I
if that
actually
was here in
thought-
Louisville,
If that was here in Louisville, that'd be awesome.
it would be
go.
awesome to go see. 'Cause I loved Garbage. I never got to see them. My friend Amanda went to the
And
Alanis
Tears for Fears
Morissette
are not
last
too
year.
bad either. I like Tears.
It would
for
probably be
Fears
more
back in the
fun than
day.
you would think.
No, I bet it would be.
You'd probably be sitting there after a minute and be like, I know this one. It wouldn't be like ZZ Top with the back to
Yeah,
back to back
yeah,
to back, but it would be fun.
That would be cool. I like to see Garbage. She's still redhead?
She's
Yeah,
still right.
the,
she just still
new-
looks somewhat like.
The new album, I have not been able to get into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's it still sounds like them, but there's a lot of preachy stuff on there that it's stop trying to educate me and entertain me.
Yeah, I read that what Peter Jackson said about when they did Lord of the Rings that he purposely kept all politics out of that movie. He wanted to film Tolkien's novels. He didn't want to put politics into
Right,
it.
right.
And you can see that when it comes out. It's just a movie about friendship and loyalty. And now they got this new Amazon series where they're trying to sex it up and bloody it up. And,
Yeah.
And there's no need for all that. It's not Game of Thrones. We don't need to see Arwen and Aragorn doing it to realize that they.
We don't?
We don't need to see that. Hey, well, I mean, it doesn't further anything.
No.
You get the point whether or
Right.
not you show that.
Show that
so
or
why
not,
are we
right.
showing it? Just because people would want to see Vigo on top of Liv Tyler.
Well, basically.
I'm sure somebody would have liked to
Don't
see
wanna
it.
see-
So it's like, you know
uh,
what? People will pay money for that.
I want to see Gollum talking about his precious.
Exactly. Oh, and if you want to see that, there's all kinds of fan art all over the web. I've looked up some of it, and there's every combination of characters that you would ever think of.
Yeah.
And the weird, and I even understand it a little bit more for something like Lord of the Rings, where they have there's good-looking people that are playing most of these roles. So I get that somebody might say, "Hey, I'd like to see so and so and so and so." When it comes to things like Transformers, and there's fan art of
Gay Megatron and Prime doing stuff.
Well, they're not just gay Megatron and Prime, but I mean just every character. RC taking it up the rear from getting gangbanged or something. There weren't very many female Transformers, so RC takes more than her share.
She gets around, huh?
Of these, well, yeah, things like Prime and Megatron. Just like, I don't understand that attraction at all. I don't.
Robot action.
I don't get why anybody would
Lots of sparks.
robot on robots.
Yeah.
It just seems, and then the anime don't even
Hey,
start
man.
on
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God. that'd
To
be
each
so-
their own.
That is a deep Sarlacc pit of destruction.
Oh, the
right
anime
there.
stuff, yeah. And once again, when it's human characters depicted with human characters, I'm kind of like, well, I get it. I
Yeah.
get why some people
Yeah.
have these fantasies. They really get into it, But then some of what you'll see on there, you're just like, no. I don't want to see the little cat people. I don't need to see Happy and Carla going at it. And I've accidentally seen stuff like that.
Frosh and Nappy and
Frosh and Levy. Really?
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
And
wouldn't be
Panther
surprised
Lily
either.
and
That's
the-
what I'm just saying,
the Levy,
yeah.
I'd guarantee somebody's done that. It's just, Carla
And
gets
I'm
that
sure,
human form eventually.
Sting and Rogue. I mean,
There's
I'm sure
there's
a bunch
leagues of
them.
fan fiction on Sting and Rogue. Yeah, I mean that's
Some of them.
Natsu and Gray is a very popular one.
But
And
Natsu and Gray is popular.
Lucy and Urza, and just yeah, he likes that.
I can
one.
see that one.
There was a long pause.
I can see that one.
I might be interested in that. Not so much Natsu and Gray, but Lucy and Urza,
Right,
maybe.
Lucy.
Just say so. Juvia in the middle, and I'm sure there's.
I could say Carla and Happy, but you know.
No, I guarantee someone has done
bestiality
Carla
going
and
on.
Happy. Well, I don't know if it's bestiality if the two of them are together.
Well, yeah,
unless Carla's in her human form.
Right, unless she's in her human form. Right?
Yeah, which.
I'm so glad I don't know what characters you guys are talking about.
Well, and it's everything. It's comics and every kind of old cartoon, and I'm sure there's Destro giving it to the Baroness.
Torpedoes away.
Somebody has sat down and said, "You know what? I need to draw. I need to draw." I've always wondered.
I wonder what that would look like.
Destro just going to town on the Baroness? Does he take his mask off when he eats her pussy out? He just-
Shit. Well, Cobra Commander's looking behind the curtain.
Guess what podcast you signed up for? Like and subscribe.
Somebody has written that story, and somebody has drawn that.
Yeah, there's some fan fiction somewhere on that.
Deviant art or something.
Back of a hustler somewhere.
In the back of there.
Well, on that note, I think we have covered what we wanted to cover.
That is our year-end review.
Year-end review in the middle of February.
Thank
So
God it's
really,
over with.
really fresh on our minds.
No. I'm looking forward to the upcoming year for sure.
Yep. We'll take notes, Donnie. Listen to some more music this year.
Go
would
to
you?
more shows. Yes, I need
more
to,
shows.
I need to do some more culturing.
I will try to go to more shows too.
Yes, you ought to. Yes, you ought to.
I only have that one. The April show. That's the only thing I've got. Well, the Alice Cooper show is going to be rescheduled hopefully sometime in the fall. The one we missed for the ice storm because it was postponed.
Stupid ice storm.
Stupid ice storm. And well, it'd be fine if we get to see Alice in the fall. So
Yeah, I suppose I should see Alice.
he's on tour with the
You
with the
ought to see
cult
Alice.
throughout Europe. Yeah, I said the man's a legend. You
Yeah.
need to go see him.
Yeah.
I said that's hit after hit after hit. And he's got. Well, you've seen Nita Strauss, so you get to see her again too.
That would be nice. She's very pretty and she shreds.
She does.
She
shred.
shreds.
She's very pretty. She's gonna have a big career. She has a big song on the radio right now with
Does she?
with David Draymond.
Oh, that's
from
right. Yeah.
Disturbed,
Yep.
doing the lead vocal on
Yep.
it, and it's. I think she was technically the first solo female artist to have a #1 rock song.
In a while, yeah.
No, ever.
Ever?
First solo female to have a #1
Okay.
rock song.
Okay.
Even though,
Yeah.
but David Draymond, it's the feature. Because that's how the things are. That's why you'll always see, so and so featuring blah blah
Featuring.
blah. Because if the other person has a significant role in the song,
Yeah.
then they get the feature. But I guess the official listing goes to the artist who gets the.
Who wrote the music and all
Yeah.
that, right?
Oh no, I don't know who wrote the music, but the person that's
Well, I'm
considered
sure-
the main contributor to
Right.
the songs.
There you go.
All right. That's it. Please come back, listen. We
Please.
will have other stuff as well once we get our YouTube channel up, because we're going to do other nerd things like open up toys because we love toys. Yep. Thanks for joining us. Come back again.